Now, mobile phone users are moving away from using Safaricom services in preference for others, with Airtel being the main beneficiary of the changing landscape in mobile telephony. These changes are in services that have been Safaricom's forte, such as phone calls and internet access. This is according to the Communications Authority's ICT sector report for the second quarter of 2017-2018, which is between October and December 2017. Now, let's take a look at some of the highlights of this report. And first and foremost, we'll look at the cellular mobile services. And the first one is on my right. Active mobile phone subscriptions have moved from 41 million to 42.8 million. We have mobile penetration moving from 90.4% to 94.3%. So we see there's greater penetration as a result of the more subscriptions. And data internet subscriptions have moved from 30.8 million to 33.3 million. And now we look at the mobile phone market share, see what these different companies are having as their market share. And first and foremost, Safaricom, which has gone down from the quarter one, where it was 71.9% to 69.1%. It's a drop. But on the other hand, Airtel has moved from 14.9% to 17.2%. Telecom Kenya up from 8.4% to 9%. And we have Equitel's, FinServ's Equitel moving from 4.7% to 4.5%. And we have Sema Mobile and Mobile Pay being just above at 0% and 0.2% respectively. Now we move on to the next slide, which is about mobile subscriptions. Who has the greatest number of mobile subscribers? Now, first and foremost, Safaricom has moved from 29.4 million to 29.5 million. That's an addition of 100,000 subscribers. Airtel, on the other hand, has gotten 7.3 million subscribers, up from 6.1 million. That's an addition of 1.2 million, which is about 12 times the number of Safaricom increases. Now, Telecom Kenya has moved from 3.4 million to 3.8 million, which is an increase of about 400,000 subscribers. I know they've been discussing about how to join hands together as the two firms. Now, the next slide is about the voice traffic market share, basically who's been calling more on which network. Safaricom has been moving. We've done a comparison between October to December 2016 to July-September 2017 and now October-December 2017, just to track how this has been moving. So it moved from 80.6% to 76.9% and down to 72.5%. So people are reducing the number of calls they're making on Safaricom. Airtel, on the other hand, has been increasing from 13.5% to 17.4% and now 22% in the quarter under review. Then Telcom has moved from 5.4% to 5.3 to 5.2, which is a slight decrease, but not as large as Safaricom's. And Equitel has moved from 0.4% and changed in the last two quarters, then 0.3% in the quarter under review. Now look at data internet. Many of you are possibly watching when you're on your phones or online, maybe having your digital platforms or gadgets. And Safaricom's share has moved down, another down for Safaricom, from 76% to 72.8%, which means that people are not using data as much as they were on Safaricom. Airtel is on 15.7%, down from 15.7% to 18.5%. And we have Telecom Kenya coming from 7.3% to 7.8%. And we have Equitel moving from 0.7% to 0.6%. So we see once again Airtel and Telecom Kenya are the winners in terms of those who have gained the most number of the greatest market share when it comes to data. Now moving beyond that, we have the cyber threats, and now we look at what some of the statistics around here. And the first one is that those which have been detected, the number of cyber threats detected in this quarter are 4,589. Those are those which have been detected, and this is according to the report by the CA. And those which were considered critical and needed immediate response are 539 cases. Now, coming from this, we take a look at the types of cyber attacks, and this is in regard to those which were critical and needed immediate response. And the first one is, the highest rather, is the system misconfiguration. There were 187 cases which had been recorded, and malware was the second one at 140 cases. And we have online impersonation, where you have someone whose main page is being impersonated, maybe a person who's a personality, a popular person, and those are 104 cases reported. We have online hate speech, which has been a case which has been back and forth in terms of the courts and even big people in the society, so, politicians and the likes, and those are 62 cases reported. And we have online fraud. 24 cases of online fraud have been registered. And you know, this is one of the challenges that has been facing many people when it comes to losing their money, people who are at times unsuspecting of what is happening to them. Now we move on to the next space in terms of the ICT space, which is broadcasting. Now, broadcasting, when you look at the growth in the sector, or the different movements in terms of statistics, we see that the free-to-air has moved from 62 channels in Q1 to 64 channels in Q2. And we know that before this quarter, about four companies had dropped out, but now we see 2 more have come up in terms of the free-to-air. The pay TV, still on digital terrestrial, have stayed unchanged at 2, that is Go TV and Star Times. And we have FM radio stations staying unchanged, so there have been no new radio stations, or none have pulled out in that quarter, between the 2 quarters. And now our final slide is about set-top boxes that have been purchased. You must be watching us on set-top box, if not online. And we'll take a look at those which are free-to-air. The free-to-air boxes which are exclusively free-to-air, specifically 969,896 have been bought. And we have pay TV decoders at about 4.5 million. And this is because we have some of the set-top boxes that have both free-to-air and pay TV option. And so that means that that's why you find there are more than the free-to-air, because they're not exclusive to that. And those are some of the statistics from the Communications Authority of Kenya.